This
So
reminded me of the wedding singer. M. Sound was like, I have the microphone, so you gotta listen to every single word I have to say.
yeah, exactly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dodgeball Podcast. In this episode, I dare say the stars did align. I was actually able to get Jake Mason on here so we can give a quick precap of Worlds. Jake, thanks for joining, man. Thanks for being flexible as well.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, no, this worked out really, really well. And yeah, I'm in a good mood for it too. So I think the stars did align.
We'll see how you feel afterwards. But
Yeah.
So when I said, like, thanks for being so flexible, I mean, obviously anybody that knows you knows that you're just all over the place. You're being pulled in like 30 different directions. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for you once World is done?
No. No, which is also honestly making all this like a lot more stressful. There's Walkapalooza this weekend, which I hosted last year and agreed to host this year. I don't know why. It's a great, fun tournament. But luckily I've got Val Horton. She's going to help kind of take point on that.
Awesome.
And I fly out to Vegas Friday, run a tournament, fly back Friday night. And then right after, a week after Worlds, we've got our annual charity Halloween tournament for West Hollywood for WeHo Dodgeball. And that is a huge undertaking in itself. And then, yeah, November is also, I'm hosting the Compete Magazine Sports Diversity Awards in Phoenix. The same weekend, I think, as the Tribune thing.
Oh, weird. So
I'll be
switching
yeah,
places.
we switch. Yeah, exactly. And then after that, there's a couple of sports conferences in between there that I have to go to for USA Dodgeball. But then, and then Sin City. So Sin City is huge. It's the biggest dodgeball tournament in the world. We go back and forth with the Barrie tournament in Canada, but there's like, it's more people than Elite Nationals. It's 100 and something teams. It's crazy big. And luckily, though, it's my 7th year. So I have a formula.
I would hope so. And it's more fun though, right? I mean, like it's not, from what I've seen, I mean, I've been going for the last 4 years straight and I've never had a problem, but you know, that's my limited views. So
it's fun for you guys. Yeah, it's fun for me. I love it. But I mean, obviously it's a lot of work. I mean, we're coordinating over 600 players and 14 courts and, you know, everything involved. And so, yeah. And then in March, we have like an America's Cup coming, and I'll tell you about that later. But
wow.
It just starts all over and then elite season. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, you did say there's a 7-day cruise in there somewhere, right? No internet in February, that you'll have some kind of... Okay.
Yeah,
man.
Brendan and I are going on our very first ever non-dodgeball vacation. And we've been together for 3 years.
Oh, man. I don't even think I've been on a non-dodgeball vacation, but...
yeah.
Wow. I remember when you sent me that itinerary, I was like, man, that sounds like the life. But then I was like, oh, yeah, no, he probably has a job still. Like, there's all kinds of other stuff that are going on. Going back, though, I mean, it's good to hear that Val's kind of helping out. But are you getting help from other people, or is this still something new?
I mean, as far as like my job, I just kind of retired, quote unquote, retired from teaching. And I did my last summer camp this summer. So I've been 17 years of running a summer camp for kids. I had a dance studio for kids for a long time. And I taught at Wonderland Elementary School in LA for 17 years. That's all kind of done. And I think it's a good time for it. And then as far as like WeHo goes, like WeHo has been neglected over the last year. Unfortunately, like with USA Dodgeball, I haven't been able to focus on like, you know, my baby. And but the best thing is I have such an amazing support crew in WeHo. Anfon, Ali Bustamante, Val Horton, and Brendan Tickner are all helping run everything. And there's other people, Jeb Whitlock, he comes in and helps too. So
Nice.
we worked really hard knowing that I would be insane, and we met. And so WeHo right now is like solid. In my opinion, it's going through kind of like a bit of a rebirth. There's a lot of new players. We have over 100 new players this season. And I'm so excited about it. We're captaining new teams, and I'm happy to say my crew there is solid, so I don't have to worry about WeHo so much.
It's gotta be a good feeling to just know that that's handled.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, something worse than like leaving something behind and just watching it fall apart. Like Tucson Dodgeball, but it's a small entity. I kind of want to go back to USA Dodgeball because if memory serves me correctly, this was announced in February of this year.
USA Dodgeball, we announced it on Thanksgiving.
Okay, well,
and we launched the membership drive, I think February.
Okay, that's what it was. What in a limited nutshell, what can you tell me about that? Like, how did it come to be? How long has it been in the works from when you guys announced in November? And can you kind of walk me through how that came to be, how that evolved?
Yeah. Well, so ideally, I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry. We have been working on this for a long time. It just kind of made sense for years and years. Ever since I kind of launched WeHo, I realized that like there's a lot of people out there, different organizations, and we can work together. Unfortunately, like my experience kind of coming into dodgeball was everyone was in their own little clans, and this is not shade at WDS or anything, but it was very much like this is what we do and everyone else's competition. And then, I would go to the NDL, and funny about that, I've been going to the NDL since 2007. I just never played because I totally thought it was garbage. Part of me is really sad I never played the competitive aspect, but I was in Vegas every year since like 2008 and on, holding a party. We had like 50 of us that were all dodgeballers that never actually played. And sorry for that noise. And I would always try to talk to Ed Prentice. He never has once acknowledged me as a individual ever. And I would try to kind of talk to other groups, and they would very much be like, why? What do you want from us? What are you getting? You're with WDS. And so kind of like when WeHo broke off on its own, and I met I started word spread, and I kind of started working with other people. I started helping a lot of leagues grow, and like the Rad League and Noda Dodgeball. And I realized we could help each other. Right. And there isn't need for like this kind of competitive thing. And growing the sport as a whole was like actually way more effective and helped all of us. So that being said, and also working with Mark and working with Elite was always like, because he launched Elite pretty much right around the same time. And then a year later, it was his first nationals, which I helped run. And from then we kind of talked about how there needs to be a governing body, unifying thing. I believed at the time Bill Fair might have something to do with that, but that obviously wasn't the case. But Mark and I kind of stuck to it. And then as of like maybe 2 years ago, we were like, we just have to do this. So we started working on all the things. And I'm looking through photos on my phone that are about 2 years old with like logos and nonprofit paperwork and, like downloading nonprofits for dummies and stuff like that. It's a lot of work. But our whole thing, when Mark and I kind of started off on this was it has to be done right. Everyone kind of like came in my experience from 2007 on, everyone was like, I created dodgeball. No, I created dodgeball. Yeah, well, I did it, but I did it better. And everyone's arguing about ball types and rules and stupid stuff. And there was a lot of ego. Not that I don't have ego, but and it just needed to be like done right. And a lot of people just kind of jumped in and claimed. You have no idea. Like I would look up American Dodgeball League or AmericanDodgeball.com and stuff, and it would be like a church group in Shreveport or like there were lots of claims to the US title. Oh, yeah. And but it's a lot of people just like plant their flag and then go for it, but don't actually have, a 501c3. They're not actually incorporated. They're not actually a business. They don't have bylaws. They don't have things in place. And so I wanted to do it right. We wanted to do it right. And it was about a year of planning before we were even able to announce. We announced earlier than I wanted, but I'm glad we did because it forced us to kind of jump on it. Yeah,
it's a good strategy or good tactic to be like, oh crap, I committed to this, so now we have to follow through.
Yeah. I mean, we were supposed to announce Sin City of like 2016, I believe, 2017. And then we were going to launch by June. And then we kept being like, no. And then finally we're like, okay, if we don't do Thanksgiving, like this is it. We have to announce. And we had most of the stuff set up, but I want it to be perfect before it comes out. And that's like a little like too much on my end. But then we had brought on board Alex Benepe, Kate Cairns, and Felix. And now that we had kind of more of a support structure at the beginning, it was really, yeah, let's just go, let's do this. And
so
it's been a whirlwind ever since.
I'll say, Kate Cairns is SBS.
Yeah, Social Boston Sports. She's higher up at Volo City, which owns Social Boston Sports, and they've got leagues all over the country.
And that's obviously a huge support base right there. And then you had Felix Peroni, right?
Mm-hmm.
From NCDA.
Felix is great because he, at Elite Nationals last year, him and some people from the NCDA came to us and they were like, all right, Mark and Jake, we want to like work on maybe a USA Dodgeball concept. And they gave us a little pitch. And it was really cool because they gave us this really nice pitch. And then I said, well, actually, and then I pulled out my phone and gave them our pitch that we were planning on giving them anyway.
Awesome.
And we just agreed right then and there, they'd be better to just team up and work together, which is what I love and which is what we need. And then Felix was a beast, like, cause he gets all the legal stuff and all the technical stuff that I just freak out over and struggle with.
Do you, and who is the other person you mentioned? Alex
Benepe from UDC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, these people rallying behind the USA Dodgeball banner is very significant and gives you that credibility immediately, especially NCDA because they're so massive. Mm-hmm. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Yeah.
I kind of picture it like that. Actually, I used to joke that back in the day, with NDL as the main head, you had all these like feudal like organizations, these like feuding clans, like feudal Japan, just all trying to compete for who's gonna become shogun. And yeah. I feel like I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna. You're the dodgeball shogun right now.
Oh no.
I might edit that out. Like, please don't do that.
No, you can keep that in. It's fine. It's just I'm saying no because inevitably, like, that's not the goal. It's fun. It's nice, but when you put yourself in that iron throne, then inevitably there's people who are all around you ready to cut you down. Oh, yeah. So I prefer more of the goal here is to set up something that will outlast me and outlast Mark, outlast all of us, and stay consistent. It can't be based around one person or two people or four people. It has to be like one single entity with a goal. Obviously the goals will kind of evolve and change as we go, but none of us can be irreplaceable or it won't work.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up too, because that was one of my next questions is, you listed out all the things that you're going to do that I feel are part of, it's part of your obligation as, what's your title? So I don't
President.
So as president of USA Dodgeball, this is what you have to do, but then are you getting the help that you need? Are you seeing the longevity that you would like from other people? Like, oh, if I do need to be replaced, are there things in motion for that to happen now, or is that still in the works?
It's in the works. It's a sensitive subject, but right now, I mean, it's definitely hard finding help. I mean, everyone has jobs and lives, and a lot of people want to commit. A lot of people just wholeheartedly, so innocently want to commit, and they don't realize what they're committing to,
right? Or
they don't kind of have the ability to see that the commitment they made was beyond their scope. Then that's it 100%. A lot of people are like, yeah, I could do that. And then they get into it. And what I experience more than anything, especially right now, especially in these last 6 months, has been a lot of people want to volunteer, and then they get into it. And then when they kind of realize they need help, or it might not be what they thought, or it might be too much, they don't really reach out. They just kind of disappear. I get why to a point, but at the same time, now anytime I get a volunteer, I'm like, if you cannot make the make the commitment that you make, like, how do I say that? If you cannot honor the commitment that you made, please just tell us. Just tell me. If we're waiting on like a design for a uniform, and you say it'll be done by Wednesday, and then I don't hear from you for 2 weeks, and I'm emailing you and texting you, or then it affects everything. Like, and that's a lot of what's been happening. We did put out a call for committee members, and once Worlds is done, we can kind of refocus on that and put in some more structure in place. But I think the hardest thing is getting people to honor their commitments right now.
Or maybe get them to see that it's a job. Like, you're not going to get paid for it, but it's an actual job with responsibilities, deadlines, expectations, and repercussions if you don't fulfill these
Yes.
obligations that you're committing to.
Yes. I mean, that's so hard. I mean, you don't have to get paid to treat it like a job. And
Yeah.
even, and that's just something I've always, I guess I'm really lucky because I never realized like kind of my commitment to things. But when you volunteer, you accept it. So you can't, in my opinion, like 3 weeks later, you can't be like, well, I'm doing this for free. And it's like, yeah, we understand this, but you went into it agreeing to do this. And because it's overwhelming, you can't just kind of, it's still a job. It's still a commitment you made. It's really hard. It's really hard to find people who I can rely on right now. And this is not trying to be shade at anyone. It's just, I'm also a little beat down. So, everyone listening, forgive me.
It's hard when people want to help you. They genuinely mean it, like you said. But then I guess it's just like if you offer to help me, I can't justifiably ask more than what you're willing to give me. But at the same time, if I have other obligations or other people waiting on that, it puts me in a bad situation because I have to start demanding stuff off of your goodwill and whatever mood it was that put you in that. And I think, when you're, because I filled out for one of the committee positions and I saw it was an application. I was like, good. Like, this tells me right now how serious this is. And I had to rethink whether or not I was going to commit to this if I got picked up. And that's, I don't know, like, I'm not saying I'm special, but that's got to be the mentality that people need to pick on. Like, this is committing to at least 5 hours a week. Can I do this? Yes. And then I think just, unfortunately going through the people that filter themselves out, eventually you'll hopefully find those that actually have that responsible business oriented minded where they'll be like, okay, I will commit to this if I can actually make sure I do this. So
Yeah, no, I love hearing that because that was the point of that. And that was, something Kate Cairns brought up is like, that's the point of the application is, and I love hearing that that's the response. That's exactly the response we wanted. I want people to look at it and go, oh yeah, it is a commitment. There is an application. Okay. Double think it. And then there's nothing wrong with life getting in the way as long as you communicate it. Again, like, stuff happens.
Yep.
But most of my experience in the last year has been people just dropping off the face of the earth. And communication is key. So like, if it ends up like where someone's on a committee and they're like, this is more than I thought, or I lost my job, or I'm moving, or I'm in a relationship and I just want to hang out with my boyfriend, whatever, but tell us so I know. Because like again, the biggest struggle, I just want to reiterate this for everyone listening, because is that I'm getting a lot of people who are like, yes, I can do this. And then I check back. And then it gets to the point where I have to double check all their work because they do it in a frantic last minute huff. And then I'm having to double check everything, which actually does not save me any time and would be
just
faster if I just did it on my own. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know. I've been there a few times just with my job. So, yeah, I mean, it's, again, the good thing is people see, oh, I want to be on this committee because whatever reasons, then they see the application like, oh, this is way too much or this is too serious. And then good. Like, again, it's that filter. And hopefully, a couple of iterations of this, you'll find the people that you need to help out and they can give you that sustainability. But I wanted to ask also, if possible, do you have an idea of what the next 2 to 5 years look like for USA Dodgeball?
I mean, yeah, this is like a learning process for all of us. We're really making a lot of this up as we go.
Right.
And there's going to be some hit and misses. One of the things about bringing Alex Benepe on board was that he helped create USA Quidditch. And there's a lot of stuff they did. They basically had to reform after 3 years, from what I understand. And so he's kind of guiding us through a lot of mistakes they made. I've also been going to a lot of these sports conferences. So I'm meeting the heads of the other NGBs, the national governing bodies. I'm getting into these, I'm meeting with them. I'm discussing their pitfalls, the things they experienced, the things that held them back, things that pushed them forward. I mean, USA fencing, field hockey, volleyball, USA rugby, all these people I'm meeting and talking to and having dinners with, and just, we have all these resources and I want to use them because I want to try to avoid as much of that as we can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but it's awesome. And so the next couple of years are that we're going to continue to kind of grow. Worlds set us back. And we knew that was going to happen. And unfortunately, we have to focus literally everything on Worlds right now. But once that's done, assuming we survive the process and assuming it goes well, then we can refocus. And the first thing will be committees. Again, structure. We really need to band the organizations together. Brendan Tickner and Casey Reed have been our social media people, and they've been killing it. And they are going to work on, like, I want content from all our organizations. I want RAD to be sending me content once a week. I don't want USA Dodgeball to be just about Team USA and what we are doing. I want it to be about what every single organization every league in our organization is doing. I want updates from Cactus, from Stonewall Philly, from Stonewall DC, from Big Apple, from NODAF to, Nerd. Like, I want every league sending us content. And then there's a lot of other stuff, youth initiatives, scholarships, all that fun stuff. So.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And just, if I may just offer my opinion, just seeing the treatment that Team USA has been given with the bios, and I think like the Brady Bunch thing, like that's awesome. Like that, we didn't have that last year, unless I'm snoozing.
No, you never had that.
Yeah, so you're saying you want things like, all the leagues to produce content, and it's like, I almost want to say, like, what's being done right now is not only is it enough, but it's substantially more than what it's been in the past. And so I see it happening, just, again, you guys are taking the measures slowly and surely to build and learn and not, make the same mistakes that other organizations have been making. So,
we have a lot of years of, trials and errors to learn from and to grow from. And luckily I've been around for most of them. And so I'm really trying to remember our past and grow from that. Again, I'm glad you like the Brady Bunch thing. That was literally all me, and everyone thinks I'm stupid for it, but I loved it.
That was awesome.
And I don't even care. I was like, I'm waiting for the Emmys. I'm posting this. And then in the other stuff I want to do, in all honesty, I wanted to focus more on giving Team USA more support. We were able, but with hosting Worlds, it's like impossible. Next year, the team's going to have a lot more attention. But this year, unfortunately, like, the tournament, I literally told the teams, they're asking about, I can't remember, shoes or something like that. And I was like, I would love to buy you guys shoes, but we have a $100,000 tournament we have to throw. So no.
Yikes. Jeez.
Yeah.
It'll happen. I mean, if the way things are going, again, we're light years from where we were even a couple of years ago. So why did you go to the NDL DWCs? You said you've been going since 2007. You never played in any of them. Were you just tagging along with some friends, or just want to, like, take notes and see, like, how you can do better, or what was?
This is going to sound super snotty. First off, I was like, cool, dodgeball tournament in Vegas. Like, awesome, let's go. And I went with, like, Mike Miller, who was like, and Tracy Brown. She played, but it was like my whole first team, Le Dodgetoire, and there was like Helen Ellis and Brandon Sapinski and the WrestleManiacs, and like, it was all the fun, crazy, wild dodgeballers. And we're like, tournament in Vegas, and our friends were playing. So we went, and it was fun. And then, honestly, and I know people aren't going to believe me, I know, but like, since like 2008, I've been saying there's no way in a million years I would pay $150 a division to play for like an hour's worth of time. And I was broke AF. Like, we shoved 10 people, no less than 10 people, into our room at the Luxor at the time. And and there's no social events besides that opening pasta night thing that was garbage. Sorry. But like, it was. And so like, there were no social events either. So we would call like Mike Miller the Pied Piper, because we would walk from the Luxor to Planet Hollywood, and we would start with maybe 20 people. And by the time we got to Planet Hollywood, there'd be no less than 75 people. Wow. We would just be picking up dodgeballers and having fun. And we'd all end up at Imperial Palace. And it was just the best time. And then, okay, wait, here, this is great. So one time we're all in the room. I think it was Benny Toth was there. We're all in our room at the Luxor, and we wake up and we're like, we're going to the pool. And Diana Suarez, a bunch of old school people, again, Kellen Ellis. And we open the blinds, and it's raining, and there was like a light thunder shower, and we stand there in silence for about 10 seconds. And then I think Benny said it. He goes, now we have to go to that stupid dodgeball tournament. And that was kind of, and the other thing is, like, we wanted to go support our friends, but they were trying to charge us to get in. And I'm not paying at the time, especially I was super broke. So I'm not paying $20 to go in to see like trash cans and 2x4s. And I might sound like a snob right now. I mean, we're charging for Worlds, but I'm setting the bar high for Worlds. And to me, every time we make a decision, we're like, yes, but we are charging for tickets. So can we cut this corner? No, we can't. And at the time, like none of us. So there was at least 50 of us in the peak, like 2009 through 12 that went every year and never set foot on that court.
That's hilarious. I think I'm remembering something about hearing, because I remember like I heard your name for several years before I actually figured out who you were. And I'll admit it, I thought for some reason you were on Fawn. Like I thought you were him. Because I was like, you know what? I've had it. Who is this Jake Mason? And I asked somebody, like, point him out to me, please. And this was like maybe 2012, 2013-ish. And then they pointed to you, but I saw on. I was like, because that's the face I recognized. Like, oh, okay. That's Jake Mason.
That's amazing.
And I was like, huh. And then I find out it's really not you. I was like, oh, wow, man, I was off just by a little bit. But
I'm going to be confused for somebody. On's a good guy to be confused with.
And
he's a great representative.
That's why I bought it, because he was always warm and friendly and social. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like his behavior and mannerisms match what I've heard of you. So that was just something I just remember. But I also remember hearing a lot about like the social stuff that you were starting to. I don't want to say concoct, but there's a social following that you had during the NDL. And Benny's comment of like, crap, we have to go to that tournament now. I would feel like that almost all the time after 2007. I was just like, I guess we gotta go play dodgeball now. Which is sad.
Yeah. I mean, I never talked to Ed. He never talked to me. I never had any interactions with him, negative or positive. But when I started at WeHo in 2012, September 2012, and we aligned with Sin City and created the Sin City Dodgeball Tournament. That was January of 2013. So we had like 4 months, and everything I did with Sin City was literally based around what I wanted Vegas to be in the past. So social, fun, a little, I wanted competition there as well. And not that same level of NDL competition, especially once Elite was born. It was perfect. I was like, great, you guys do that and I'll do my thing.
Right.
But as far as like, I based all my payments, all the dodgeball time. The biggest complaint I got the first year of Sin City was that there was too much dodgeball. And that's why Mark, I know with Elite too. I mean, same thing. We were like, we wanted to do exactly the opposite and just run people in the ground. I don't know if that's what we should be doing anymore, but it was needed back then for sure.
Yeah, I remember my first Sin City, 2015, 2014. I was literally run to the ground. I had to lay down. Day 2 was like, I was not expecting this much dodgeball. And when you guys said like, okay, time for rubber, I was like, I don't want to. Like, I can't. It was it's a great feeling, and that's a great problem to have. If you have people complaining like, hey, we came to Vegas and paid this money and we're having too much dodgeball, that's a good indication.
At any point, I don't think anyone can claim that they're not getting their money's worth.
Yeah.
So,
it's a great event. I've been looking forward to it since I hopped on the plane to go back home. I was like, well, can't wait for next year.
Yay!
So speaking about how you compared Sin City's Vegas to the NDL's Vegas, obviously there's been some controversy stirring between WDA and the NDL, and some people just, I don't feel, are clued in and don't understand like the buildup between when they announced themselves in 2004 to when they supposedly turned into US Dodgeball. Go ahead.
I don't even know when they turned into US Dodgeball. I pretty much like
felt like it was overnight.
Go on.
No, I was saying it felt like it was overnight as a reaction to the National Dodgeball Organization forming in 2013, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that you are comparing, or you have any kind of, what am I trying to say? Do you feel like this year's Worlds, are you trying to prove something to US Dodgeball and WDA, or do you feel like you're in competition with them, or do you feel like you're trying to outstage them?
Yes and no. Okay, again, it's going to sound super snotty, but F it. I don't consider US Dodgeball, quote unquote, a competition. Sorry. It's not a real thing. It's not a real organization. It's like 8 people, and I'm sorry, this is like gonna stir some stuff, but like they've done some stuff, and that's great. But we're trying to be legitimate, and everything they do is in reaction to something someone else does. What I'm doing, I don't think about US Dodgeball or the NDL or Ed Prentice or Bill Fair or Tom Hickson or anybody else. We do what we have to do. We have to do what's right, and we cannot run our organization reacting to what other people do. And it's really, really hard to do that. It's
Right.
really hard. Even in LA, I've got WDS and Waka on the same nights, like down the street from me. They're not competition. We all do something a little different. And it's really hard sometimes. I'm better at it now, but back in the day when like WDS would like launch a tournament a week away from mine, I think both of us on both sides would go, oh my God, now what do we do? Oh, and blah, 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 blah. And I would want to react. And the best thing I've learned is just to not react. So Worlds in LA was happening regardless, unfortunately for us.
Right.
And I think some of the issue with WDBF was that they were reacting to WDA, and there were all the announcements about Madison Square Garden. On our end, we knew that wasn't locked in. So, and the logistics of it being possible were up in the air. So I wasn't panicking as much. Now, unfortunately, there is, like, because of like that stupid toxic Facebook group and and all that stuff, there is going to be comparison. I know all of Europe is watching right now. It's no pressure.
None at all.
No. Oh, it's totally easy to sleep at night. And and I have to constantly remind myself, Dwayne, president of WDBF, president of Dodgeball Canada, we're always, and Mark and everybody involved, we're all having to remind ourselves, like, we have to focus on what we're doing and do it well, and not worry about other people's reactions, not worry about what they did versus what we're doing. You know, and there's a lot of stuff I saw at that tournament that I wouldn't even let slide at Sin City. So I'm not too worried if I'm going to get, again, a little arrogant about it, but there's a lot of stuff that we don't have in place that we should. This is not going to be my dream tournament, unfortunately, but I'm going to do my best to still make it really good.
Right. So the decision to have it in LA was not yours, wasn't?
No, that was forced on us. This year, I really wanted to do LA 2019. Give us a year, let us grow. I don't want to bankrupt our new organization in the first year throwing a tournament. And let me get some stuff in place. There's a lot that we kind of missed out on of really fun stuff, really cool stuff that we missed out on because we just didn't have time. And I'm bummed about that. Again, I still am confident we're going to provide a good product. If that doesn't happen, you have to take this podcast down. But it's not what I envisioned.
Do you have an example of some of the fun stuff that you guys missed out on? Or is that?
I mean, a fun example is, like, we have a lot of celebrity connections here, and we didn't even have, or a venue. Venue is rough. This place we have is awesome, and it fits the theme we were going for, but we had to take what we could get also. We got lucky, really lucky, but there were some better venue options and really exciting places that I'll say after Worlds. But there were some really exciting venue options that we missed out on because of time. And then there's some stuff we have to kind of cut corners for because of time and money. And there's the celebrity connections. Like, one of my best friends is a singer. She was on The Voice, and she's famous, and she was going to sing the anthem, but there's a wedding conflict. We had a lot of other celebrities that play dodgeball who can't come because of conflicts. And it's as well as media, as well as like a lot of media, and not being able to get the branding out there early enough. Like, we only got our logo a couple weeks ago. We should have been branding and promoting this thing. Like, that was one thing the WDA did really well. But on the other hand, learning from them, I wasn't going to announce a venue until it was 100% locked in.
Right. For sure. Yeah, the reason why I asked that is because it's, I mean, kind of going from your announcement to November to rallying all these organizations behind you guys to Elite and now the way Team USA was put together with the actual combine and all the things that are building up to Worlds. It's a lot to chew. And I just wanted
Yeah.
to kind of air out that this is not what USA Dodgeball has to offer. Like there's more in store for it. This isn't you guys in your final form or whatever. There's much more to work with and make happen for future years. And I think just having the stress of Worlds being here in LA on the first year of USA Dodgeball kind of puts a huge strain on you guys. So
yeah, I want to make it clear that no, that's great. Thank you. Because I want to make that clear that holding the World Championships is not the end goal of our organization at all. It's actually a distraction. It's a great distraction. It's going to be really cool. But everyone, when people are donating, in the GoFundMe and the fundraising and the amazing amount of support we received, that money isn't supposed to, we're not collecting all that to hold one tournament or to host Team USA and give them everything, a select few number of dodgeballers, everything they need. That is all going to operational costs to ensure that this organization can run for a couple of years on its own while we set up a way to make money, while we set up an income process. It's not, we're trying to not touch that at all. It's really hard right now. But if anything for Worlds is being borrowed from that with the intention of paying it back, because that's operational costs, youth leagues, scholarships, all the stuff we want to do. We need money to keep the business going while we set this stuff up. And I know people are like, oh, I donated my $25 or my $1,000 and I don't want it to be just to go to uniforms for Team USA and stuff like that. And it's not.
Right.
It is hard to quantify that money right now because we still don't know what we need as far as there's lots of paperwork that's involved. There's lots of legal filings. There's lots of paying for logos. There's lots of all sorts of stuff. So, but it is not something that we're just treating like, oh, cool, free money. Let's go.
Let's go.
I paid for my own. We raised money for Team USA in separate fundraisers, and that flew our scouts to the combine and paid for their hotels. Part of that,
Awesome.
I paid for my own flight and combine hotel room because I'm not a scout. But I had to be there, and I didn't feel comfortable taking Team USA money for myself.
And you're letting other people. You're using that to take care of other people that need to be there.
I mean, we can't ask them to fly themselves out and put all this commitment and time and effort into. That's the first thing, in my opinion, they need to be paid. Secondly, then we started using the rest of the money for team practice time. From Balleste, you guys raised money for Team USA, and so that went specifically to their uniforms. I should have used it for practice space, but I wanted the team to see the money. So that went to a discount on all their uniforms, their extra uniforms. KBS actually sponsored us, which was great. They're amazing.
Nice.
So,
what's KBS?
They're KBS Apparel, and they're our new official apparel partner for USA Dodgeball.
Awesome.
And we'll be making all the announcements once they can. It's again a big rush. So during Worlds is kind of the inaugural announcement, but they're going to be offering all sorts of discounts and things for players, teams, and they've got really good stuff. It's a bit cheaper than the competition, and it fits, in my opinion, it fits a lot better than most of the stuff out there.
Awesome. And that obviously that comes with, saying, hey, my little organization in Tucson with our 50 players are asking Under Armour for sponsorships versus the national organization, which has 16,000 players and leagues all across America want sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, if people question why do I need to rally under somebody or why should we join an organization? That's why. There's strength in numbers, and we'll hopefully start seeing the outcome in the next couple of years when we do land sponsorships like KBS and make that affordable or available to players that take dodgeball just a little bit more seriously than your rec league player. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing. When even WeHo, which has a huge social media following, has a huge amount of players. It's one of the largest single dodgeball leagues in the country, and even when we go to certain brands, and Nike was like, that's great. You have 100,000 views a week. That's great. When you get it to 1 million, call us back. And Under Armour, things like that. Like there's a lot of people who won't give us the time of day as our own individual, but as an umbrella, we can, and then we can share that. And that's the goal.
Awesome. And then that 501c3 is going to be super helpful, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
So.
I kind of wanted to ask, but I'll just ask it anyway, but I don't really want to spend too much time on it because you already mentioned like the thread, and that was, when we're watching WDA and we see Ed Prentice and we see USA Dodgeball on there, and
oh my God.
Yeah, right, it just causes this huge uproar. Like I talked to Alan about this one, just to try to give him some context and just try to get his perspective because he was there, and we kind of like maybe collectively agreed that it might have just been a typo, that it might not have been a sinister move by Ed Prentice. But then at the same time, I'm like, but I've known him for a long time, and I know some of the that he's pulled. So I don't know. Like, what were your thoughts on that, if you have any? And if not, we can just move on.
No, I'm going to say this. I don't believe at this point, with the amount of quote unquote typos and the number of things that have come my way from them, I can't believe it was a typo or a mistake. It's intentional. I mean, again, it could be, that particular instance could be unintentional. I hate it because I see it and I'm like, I don't want you representing my organization. Like, you do not represent the organization. On the other hand, it's dumb on their part because everyone looks up USA Dodgeball, and so they, in trying to claim that title, they also inadvertently funnel everyone to us, which is great. Keep doing it. The other thing is, like, they've okay, let's just put this out there. Savage Apparel. We were in talks to have them be our apparel partner and do a partnership with Savage. And then all of a sudden US Dodgeball launched a brand, and it was all USA Dodgeball. And when we called Savage, we're like, hey, and they were like, they literally said, we thought this was you guys. When they called us, they continued the conversation like we had been talking. And they immediately apologized. They edited the store. I think they shut down the store, but I don't know if that was like I don't know if the store's expiration point had hit or whatever. But and then I also got a lot of calls for interviews. Sports Illustrated, some other places were calling me. On our end, it's really, really tempting to be like, no, screw you. You can't cover our event, and hang up on them. But every time, because that'll come back on us. So as much as I want to do that, we were like, no, unfortunately, that's US Dodgeball. Here's their event page. And 9 times out of 10, they would end up messaging us on Facebook again, being like, is this the right one? And we'd be like, nope. And we would guide them. So at least 3 or 4 outlets, press outlets, I've guided to them for their worlds. That is not being returned. And I'm getting impartial people who have no connection to dodgeball whatsoever telling me this. I'm getting people who've called them on accident looking for us, and they're not returning the favor. So and knowing what I know about Ed, I think it was pretty calculated. So
yeah.
Did I talk too much? Am I talking too much?
No, that's perfect, because that's exactly what I wanted to. I didn't want to say that but that's what I believe. Because again, being around for so long, and I've even had situations locally with my own deal that I won't get into, but similar practices, because we all know, I think it would be so bold to say, we all know who's really taking care of dodgeball, where the future is, where it's going, what we experienced through Elite in the last couple of years. We all have a pretty good idea who to believe in. But if I'm so-and-so from some company, what the hell do I know the difference? And so
yeah.
It takes I think it's kind of a smart tactic. It's a one, but it's a smart one to say, oh yeah, no, that's me. Because then you're going to get my attention, you're going to get my sponsorship money, you're going to get my whatever it is that I have to offer. Because again, I'm just ignorant. I don't know any better. So I totally understand and want to just validate that theory as well. Like that's how I saw it immediately, without even. Well, actually, I was like, okay, what's Nick's photo here? Okay, it's Ed Prentice. Cool, that's great. Oh no, I saw.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, that made me so angry.
Yeah, it's not great to see that. I mean, like, have someone else representing your organization, regardless of whatever they claim to do or whatever they did first or did that second. It's like, God, what did I say? It was like just about like Coke and Pepsi. Like there are definitely things like you don't want to put like Pepsi's logo on there and then show up and have them be serving like RC Cola or like Safeway Select. Like
Yep.
and that's kind of the thing. That's my issue. There's always a little bit of ego there too, but like I'm working really carefully to build this brand and protect this brand and create and make it consistent. And then if someone comes in with that and people are Googling it, it affects everyone. It affects both of us. Cause when it comes down to it, that hurt our relationship with Savage, and they didn't do their due diligence, and that's on them. The other thing was that it just what was I going to say? It does definitely hurts both of us, both organizations. Because like the Olympics, like GASEF recognition, WDA can apply for GASEF recognition. That only means that it's in a period where they're like, okay, are there any other governing bodies? And as soon as another governing body reaches out, it cancels each other out, and no one can move forward until they agree to move forward or something else happens. So it literally just holds each other back. All this nonsense, all this craziness, all this, I did it first, no me, it just holds everybody back. And I'm kind of out of patience for it. I've witnessed it for years and years and years. And at this point, I'm just going to, again, do what we do and do it as best we can, and provide the best product we can. And hopefully that'll be the right one. And if it's not, we're open to listening and growing. So I would like to, do that.
Yeah, no, it's
Right.
if people ask why aren't we in the Olympics yet, it's part of the issues right there. So take that
That's a
as you
big
will
part.
if you're listening. Well, speaking of moving on, let's go ahead and get into some of the questions because I'm notorious for going to rabbit holes. So the first question I got was from Dominic Borgia, and I might have to reword this one, but I'll just read out loud first. He says, "Ask him about what Mark said if that aligns with topics. ... Worlds. What's the setup been like coordinating so many countries coming into LA?" So
Oh gosh.
I'm not sure how to. Do you know what he means at least?
Uh, I wish he was more specific so I could dance around the question better. Um, um, I'm assuming he's talking about Mark's frustrations with Elite.
Perhaps if that aligns with similar topics with Worlds. So starting with what's the setup been like coordinating so many countries coming to LA?
Okay. I mean, again, if you want to phrase it into like a more specific question, I can help too, but I'm down. But World set up with LA, a lot of the countries, unfortunately, like our country is a nightmare, and our government is super racist. And I'm just saying, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because everybody brown couldn't get their visas, and we had so much local support from the city of West Hollywood. The mayor wrote individual letters to every countries, being like to Pakistan and to Cameroon. And there's one player on the team Italy from Maldive. I'm not sure. I'm going to sound so ignorant, but and these are not on no-fly lists. These are not on terror watch lists. Like these are and with a letter from the mayor, with a letter from our organization, with a letter from the World Dodgeball Federation, with phone calls from the mayor, their visas were declined without review instantly.
Jeez.
Everybody's. And so unfortunately, because of visa issues, Cameroon, China, Pakistan, they were unable to make it. So that's been horrible. Argentina has been having some issues, but they're here. They're coming now. So thank goodness. But we had originally 13 men's countries and 11 women's, and now we're down to 9 and 7 with logistics. Puerto Rico right now, we had a Puerto Rican women's team, and unfortunately, like because of all the stuff in Puerto Rico, they're unable to join as well.
So all the politically charged nonsense that's has been going on is actually impacting dodgeball.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, we booked rooms for them to show they had places to stay. We had my address, all my personal information was sent to all these places, like as well. And again, like the mayor We had lawyers. I got lawyers involved early on from immigration lawyers, so they could help guide us through the process. That was one of the first things I did. It's a lot of work. And then coordinating housing and coordinating all this stuff. It's just a lot of work. And LA is a terrible place for this because it's so spread out. So we got teams who are like, oh, I found a really great Airbnb in Inglewood. That's close, right? And we're like, no, that's like an hour away from the venue. And, or they would be in, you know, deep in Simi Valley or by Disneyland. And if you're from this area, you know that those are not, that's like, especially from Anaheim, it's like a 3-hour drive here in traffic in the middle of the day. So that was a lot of work.
You know, so people like earlier when I said, you know, I know everybody that knows you knows you're busy, knows that you're always working. I'm glad some of the less sexier details of this position are being aired. Like I had to coordinate with the mayor of LA to let Pakistan come in, and we had to do all this because like I don't think people understand or realize that that's part of the role that has befallen you, and that's part of what goes into legitimizing this sport that much more. I think it's incredible that you even got the mayor to pay attention to you for dodgeball. Like that's impressive.
Well, I mean, again, the mayor of West Hollywood, although the mayor of LA is also a fan of dodgeball, we're really lucky here. The city and is really connected with WeHo Dodgeball. All the city council members, all the mayor, everybody. So we have a fantastic support structure. We're officially being sponsored. The Worlds is officially sponsored by the city of West Hollywood, even though we're not in the city of West Hollywood.
Wow.
But we do a lot for them and with them, and we're really lucky to have that connection. But those are like years and years and years of connections that we were able to call on. So, and no, none of this is sexy. The only fun, sexy part is when I'm on the microphone being silly or when we're at a party being drunk. And that's why I will not let that microphone down when I get it.
This is my microphone.
It's all I have. I don't get to do the live stream this year. That's like my favorite part is like at UDC, same thing. I had to coordinate, so I couldn't do the live stream. I can't do the live stream this year. And that's what I want to do.
This reminds me of the wedding singer. Am Sound was like, I have the microphone, so you can listen to every single word I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Since y'all don't read your emails.
I never got an email from you, by the way, just saying. So I would have read it. Man, that's another rabbit hole I want to go down to, and that's just how hard was it to get the city behind you, and you know all it takes is maybe just attending a couple of council meetings, and that's just another element that helps strengthen dodgeball. I might have to pocket that one for another time.
Yeah, for sure. It's not that exciting. It's basically you just summed it up, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's powerful, and I guess real quick, not to make this about me again, but Tucson Dodgeball, I was trying to, this is like 2006, I was trying to find out how we can get a venue because we're getting kicked out of these places. It was so frustrating. So I attended a couple of ward council meetings, gave a real quick 20-minute PowerPoint presentation on what we're about, how we can help the community, because we had a bunch of kids that were literally staying off the streets to play dodgeball with us. And I had no idea how to take care of them because, you know, I can barely take care of myself at 24. And one of the councilmen came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I think we can help you out. There's budgets for this kind of stuff." And long story short, you know, we got a court painted and designated for us. Like there's an actual dodgeball court that Tucson made for us. It was a tennis court, and it was in the less ideal part of town. But once that happened, I was like, that was freaking easy. Like that just took a little bit of footwork, some PowerPoint skills, and just acting like I know what the hell I'm talking about, and some pictures of smiling children, and boom. And so that is something that can be replicated. And I'm just thinking, if for the people that are out there running these organizations and really want to do actual things to grow dodgeball, like go for it. Like it's not as hard as you think, but it's also not as sexy as we've been saying.
Well, and I mean, one thing we're going to provide through USA Dodgeball for our member leagues is support in that kind of way. Like,
awesome.
I have a lot of connections. I happen to have like really good connections with the MGM, and you know, and to the point where when they hear a dodgeball thing, they literally text me and go, "Is this you?" And then if I say yes or no, they're like, "Oh, cool, we were going to pursue it, but if it's not you, we'll hold."
Wow.
And I'm not asking them to do that. It's just that we have a really good relationship, and they want to nurture that relationship. And with these sports commissions and these conferences, and being members now of the National Association of Sports Commissions, and we're members of Connect sports and the Connect Diversity sports and the Sports Diversity Leadership Council, the SDLC. It's not well known yet, and I need to social media this stuff better, but we're all members. USA Dodgeball are members of all these organizations. And what I'm getting is connections to cities. And so I have connections in Mesa and Scottsdale now. I have really good friends who can get us a gym space if we need it. I have been using that to help Elite find gym space. But the other thing is, like, these things do give us a little bit of power that we didn't have before. A gym, I just went to Detroit to look for spots for our America's Cup in 2019. And, I got flown there by the city of Detroit, and they took me to 7 different venues and 2 different hotels. And these are places that when we cold call, they just ignore us. But when the sports commission says, hey, you're meeting with the president of USA Dodgeball, they book time, and and this is stuff that will and can trickle down and help out all these organizations, everyone in our crew, our
awesome.
clan.
The Mason clan, the Mason.
No. Take my name out of it. Take my name out of it.
I'll stop doing that. I can't help it though. I was just gonna go through heraldry and all this. So I'll stop. I'm gonna nerd out way too far here.
Brian Lee from Hong Kong was like, unite the clans. So
perfect. That's awesome. Well, again, I mean, it's probably dull and again, not sexy to some people, but I love that. I love just working with cities and seeing, okay, I can't get it through this way, but what if I do it the correct way? Holy crap, the correct way is not that hard. Oh, wow, this is really easy. But
yeah, we have a lot of resources available to us that we never knew about in the past. And I'm just learning more and more and more. It is kind of why it's fun going to these conferences. They're exhausting and you have zero free time, but I'm learning just so much. And I'm hoping to bring other board members on board to go. Kate Cairns came with me to the diversity one, and hopefully she can come with me to the next one. But this information needs to be shared with everybody, like, right away. So
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll look back 5-10 years from now and be like, man, all that flying around Jake did paved the way for some easy avenues for us. Hopefully. I'll be optimistic. I'm not done with my coffee yet, so I'm in a good mood. So let's go back to the questions. Gonna have to skip Sergio's. I think he meant post Worlds. Here we go. Question for Jake okay. Sorry, why do you think people's attitudes have changed about how they see and treat the organizers? And then they further say, because one of the biggest changes between last year and this year was players needing to register through USA Dodgeball. Would that sort of requirement and registration have impacted the atmosphere of the tournament? I think they mean elites and whatnot. So,
we got a little kickback or pushback from it, and I get it. I'm in a little bit of we need to get this stuff done. I'm trying so hard not to cuss. But we need to get stuff done, and I don't have time anymore for every tiny little stupid complaint. And one of those is, oh my gosh, I have to pay $25 to join this organization. Guess what? Like, that's less than half a Starbucks a month for the whole year. It is less than what you're going to spend in one night of going out. And yes, it's your money. But I also was in my 20s, and I also had to choose between driving to Arizona in a car and shoving us into a Motel 8, shoving 10 of us into one room at Motel 8 so I could play a tournament, or staying at home and not spending the money that I didn't have. And I had to miss so much competitive dodgeball in my 20s because I had to make adult life choices. So yes, we want everyone to play. We don't want to limit people from playing. There's never one time where anyone has come up to me in WeHo and been like, I can't afford to play, and we haven't worked something out. Right. My dance studio, for 17 years, it was no child will be refused due to lack of funds. There's always a way to make it work. But when people were complaining about $125 fee to pay $30 or whatever cheap amount Elite charges, then to do what they like, I'm sorry, but it's a choice you have to make. We want you there, and we want to make it as easy as possible. But every sports organization, every legitimate sports organization in the United States charges membership dues. Yep. USA Wrestling, USA Motocross, and you have to pay these Quidditch and the Quidditch dues are like $65 a year. And there will be benefits to it besides just being able to play. There will be discounted stuff. Like the America's Cup is only going to be open to USA Dodgeball and Dodgeball Canada and Dodgeball Mexico players. But like there will be discounts, there will be all that stuff. But in the long run, like this is how sports work. Every single kid who plays AYSO soccer has to be a member of AYSO. Everyone in the NBA is a member of USA Basketball. It's just how it works.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, sorry. It's just, yeah. And if we want to be legitimate, we have to act legitimate. And we started real small. And again, I will give you $25 if you don't have it. I won't, but like, if you can work it off, that's great. There's so many ways to get that measly amount of money. And the thing that sucks is the people who push back the most are the people with the most means.
People actually might have money.
And I do think a couple of people came at it with like, oh, well, now I'm paying more. So what do I get? And this kind of like, what's in it for me mentality. And I get it. I don't have time for it. This is a leap of faith right now. If you want, we get the same exact people complaining about it are the same people who are complaining that we're not further along. And it's like it's a very American way of thinking, but it's like, have your cake and eat it too kind of thing. Like we're not going to move forward without this. So sorry, it's for the greater good. Suck it up. If you need $25, we'll figure out something you can do for it.
Yeah. It's, when I saw that, I was like, oh yes, like they're doing what they need to do. Like this money is going to go to actually guaranteeing the future of dodgeball. Awesome. Like, and it's only $25. And like, that's, like you said, any other sport requires you to be a member of these organizations. You have to pay those dues. So for people whining about that,
every high school wrestler has to join USA Wrestling. Like it's like, come on, guys. So go on. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't understand the people whining behind it, and especially if the argument's still, why isn't dodgeball taken more seriously? Why aren't we in the Olympics for petty shit like that? Like just, if you don't pay $25, don't play.
And it's always the same people. It's always the same person with the same argument. Like literally, like 90% of the people who complain about the $25 are the people who are also complaining that we're not further along. And I want to scream, and I try not to. And you know, I keep saying like I only get like a certain limited amount of meltdowns that I've earned, and I've already used 2 of them on stupid stuff. So I'm not going to waste this one.
How many do you get per year?
I don't know. It depends on how well I do.
Gotcha.
It's all like performance based, I think.
It's like prorate your meltdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I'm just gonna move on from that one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Chad Landrum, who ironically, like, he just started letting me know they started listening to these episodes, and like every single episode since then has featured him somehow. So like, I'm either a wizard or I have some kind of weird prophetic ability, but it's interesting. But here we go. So he asks, how do you feel you've affected dodgeball as a sport and dodgeball society as a whole? And also, do you think dodgeball needs more people or less people like you? Meaning personality and fortitude. Since we're talking about meltdowns and how you allocate a specific amount to yours, I'd say that's a good sign of fortitude still after everything. But yeah, have at it.
I need personally like 8 more of me. I just don't think I could handle 8 more of me. If that makes sense. I think I need to like, yeah, we need more. We need more community leaders, but we need more people to understand what leadership is. That sounds so douchey, but it's so true. I'm sorry. I think like we need some more people to step up, and we need people to step up with integrity. And people who do this need to understand that it's not going to be recognized. I'm constantly having to prove myself, and I've been here for 10 plus years. Even WeHo, which I like, created, like, I'm constantly having to prove myself. It's kind of like that whole customer service thing where, well, it might be the 200th time you've been asked that question, but it's the first time they asked. It's exhausting, but people don't kind of understand that it's never ending. You're always going to have to be proving yourself. You're always going to have to show people like kind of what you're made of, and prove that you still have integrity, and prove that, you know, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to come back from those mistakes, hopefully. And I don't know. We need more of me again. But that's saying that sounds like so cocky. So I hate it. And also I know I'm a lot to deal with. So, if we can just take the good organizing sides of me and the dedication, and then take out the rest, because there is only one, and I will probably end up fighting the others. So
it's the rumble of the Jake Masons. That'd be fun to watch.
yeah.
So Mark had a really good point when he's talking about how, you know, he's all eyes are on him. Like, how dare you even ever once think about cheating or mouthing off? Like, you're in charge. Like, you're at the head of the table. People are going to watch you, and every little thing that you do is going to be under a microscope. And it takes a really specific type of personality or person to not let that break them, or not let that, you know, alter how they impact people that are looking to them for leadership. So I totally get that. And I don't think it's douchey. Leadership is not, hey, follow me, we're going to take this hill and I'm going to look all sexy and great while we do it. There's a lot of stuff that just really picks and itches away at you as a person. And some people are cut out for it and some aren't. So no, I totally get that. And I hope that I didn't perceive that as douchey. I hope other people don't either. It's a thankless, non-glamorous job.
I mean, at this point, they can think what they want. I have a job to do. And that's the other thing too. I'm in this place where I have a job to do and I have to get it done. So I want everyone to like me, but I've also reached the limit of like, your approval of me is not, I need to get the job done.
Yep.
Obviously I want both, and it's not going to be like, I'm going to be the dodgeball dictator. Like, I'm setting it up so when I become that dictator, I can be removed. And I'm saying when, because I cannot wait. I'm gonna lose it, but no, but it wears on us all. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen for me personally after October. I've told you this personally. I don't know if I can keep doing this at this level. There's a lot that needs to grow and change. The sport is growing past all of us so quickly, and a lot of people are unwilling to see that, or they're unable to see that, or they don't want to see it, or they're unwilling. But it is growing. We need to grow with it. And I mean, I can handle players yelling at me. Players yell at me all the time. I just am so stressed out that I'm snapping back more now than previously. Like, so yeah, I don't imagine anyone else. And Mark too, everybody who's been in this position, everyone who's been a league manager, we all go through that. I'm shocked Ali and On and WeHo are still able to come to WeHo with a smile. They've been doing this for years. And we met last year, I think, right before USA Dodgeball launched, and we were all just beat down. We're like, we maybe should, and it's just good because we also talked about, should we keep going, or should we find somebody else who can take over? Because it is also really good to acknowledge when you've hit that limit and you're unable to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's I mean, like you said, like it's more than, it's not just the people yelling at you. It's just, I mean, look at your schedule. Like we kind of went through like what your life looks like the next couple of months, and man, I'm sure just, you know, not doing anything would be nice on a weekend, or just not having anywhere to be. And it's, again, you guys aren't being paid for this. You guys are doing this from your free time, and it's that alone has a toll. So totally get it. It's a lot to ask, and that's why I keep hoping, you know, a couple of years from now, these roles will be paid salary positions, or something that makes it so that can be your only focus.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. That's the goal. I mean, we need a CEO. We talked about the board members can't get paid. Also to squash any rumors of, you know, elite somehow getting money from the USA membership, which is completely false. Those are things I got asked, but
I'm sure.
But we can't get paid legally, and that's how it should be, and that's how we set up the structure. Ideally, maybe I step down as president and become the CEO if that's a paid position I want to take. Or COO, sorry, not CEO, COO, whatever. I'm learning, and but we need officers, and we need paid officers, and it's a long ways away, but it's the goal. I mean, I'm one of the only people at these sports conferences from any national governing body that is there on my own dime. Literally my own dime.
Yeah, it's I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Hopefully, it's got to. Like that's part of what's going to propel us into Olympics and just seeing the organization that we all want. So,
Up. Hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think how have you impacted dodgeball and society as a whole?
Every room I walk into is brightened by my presence, Chad. Thank you.
Perfect.
Next question.
Mikhail Stokes asks, what is your favorite elite jersey?
You know what? The LADC jerseys that my team and No Sting rocked. Jamie Miguel and Kellen asked me to be on their team. I was like, I can't be on a team. And then they showed up with a jersey for me.
Oh.
And I got to play like 3 or 4 rounds thanks to Val Horton. And of course, Brendan Tickner, who's just been flipping amazing. He needs his own show just to like focus on how much he's done. People are like, who? And he's just done so much. And Val Horton as well. She literally almost died at Elite.
Yeah.
And she still managed to cover the No Sting division for me, which is amazing. I mean, she's ride or die, and I love her so much. And that's what I'm getting exhausted of. I cannot keep relying on the same 4 people, like Val, Brendan, Ali, On, Casey, Marjan. Like these people are just everything, and I cannot keep relying on the same couple people because we're all getting burnt out. I need to spread it out, and they all do way more than they should. So, but yeah, anyway, LADC jerseys were the best. Hands down.
I'm trying to remember those. I don't.
You'll see them. I'll post it. It's I'll find a picture and send it to you. But they were hot.
Nice.
I also really like the Roy Botts ones.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shade, of course. I like Shade, of course. I have to like Shade, but I do like Shade.
It's just a requirement. Like you just have to love or like Shade. That's it. There's no questions asked. I meant to ask this earlier, a long time ago. Do you play dodgeball still?
Yeah, and I nobody knows that. I play in WeHo, but it's a social league and I run it, so I can't. We have fun. Like our team on Tuesdays is a Simpsons themed team, so we're all dressing up. Tuesdays is a rec league though, and our team is stacked. We realized, so even in costumes, I think we're going to do pretty well. So basically, we've all come to the agreement that we've all come to the realization that once we get to playoffs, we have to forfeit. We're still going to play, but like if we win, we're probably going to have to forfeit just out of principle. We're way too stacked for that league, but we're going to have fun. We're going to make sure everyone who plays this has fun, and we're in silly costumes. I did just play in the 4v4. I'm actually I can be good. There's a tournament, Jake, but no one sees it. So I'm not like the best, but I watch more dodgeball than any human on this planet. So I know some things.
So you're learning some things, or staying relevant, or staying mentally fierce.
I mean, I think my strongest aspect in like WeHo especially is like, every time that person dodges, they put their left leg out, or like, because I'm also a dancer, so like body movement and stuff like that is just kind of there. So a lot of these things I see, like I'm like, they always aim for their left hip. If you have that skill, it's like they always stick their butt out, or he jumps, he crouches right before he jumps, or he doesn't plant his foot until he actually throws, so you can ignore his pump fakes until he gets to this position, kind of thing. Like, and I'm seeing like kind of the value in that, having watched so much dodgeball. Like I can play against Nate and Vince and all those guys. I'm not as good as them. I'm not in their league, but I can take them out and play and hold my own against them.
Nice.
Because they grew up in my leagues, because I've watched them play since the day they walked on the court. So,
so is
they're better than me.
Is this why you've taken the path that you've taken, just so you can watch everybody from afar and just come out swinging in a couple of years as like the ultimate dodgeball player?
Team USA next year is literally just going to be me by myself.
It's just a ruse. It's all been a sham.
I'm going to put myself on the team in traditional previous USA Dodgeball style.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself on the team, but this time I'm going to take it to a new level, and I'm only going to add Xander as an alternate.
Yeah. I'm glad you sniped that in there. Oh, God, man. That always irked me too. Is like, of course the organizational head or the president is on Team USA. Of course, like that's just as bad or as having the coach put his son in the All-Star team when you were way better than he will ever be, and I'm totally not drawing from memory.
And it's not even about skill. It's just wildly inappropriate. Like,
yeah.
it's why, like, I can't play Sin City. I want to play Sin City so bad. Can you imagine if I won my own national tournament? Like, it would be terrible. And, or if I even came close, or if I took out a team, like, there's no way. I want to play Sin City so bad. And I'm hoping that Sin City still exists when I can still play and I can let it go and play. But like, and then for the USA Dodgeball, the first thing was we got scouts who were ineligible to be on the team. Nicole Chasen 100% has the skill and talent to be on the team. Marjan, all of them have this, at least all of them would have made a combine invite. And all of them had to forfeit that chance because it's inappropriate. It blows my mind that people can't see why that's wrong. Why that's like, not frowned upon. It's straight up like just inappropriate.
Yeah. I don't think people will be upset if you won or played in Sin City.
Oh, I can name 20 people off the top of my head right now who would
really
who would never let me hear the end of it. Yeah.
Maybe it would depend on like who was on your team. Like if you go in stacked with like Andrew and all the like Pyan and go on a super stacked team, I'm sure. But if you took on a middle of the pack team, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I really want to go somewhere and compete with the We Don't Care Bears. We did New Orleans last year. We added Chris Wheeler last minute for Zarin, and we had the best time, and we had the best strategy, and we just killed it. And I really want to do a competitive tournament with them too. But I can't do Sin City. That again, there's no way. So somebody else, please host a fun, well-organized, fun, drunk, competitive tournament.
For Jake Mason and potentially Mark Aiken, because I think he's been hurting for something like that too. Threatening to burn down.
He still gets to play in his own thing. He doesn't count.
You know what? That's true. I take that back. Sorry, Mark. We need one for Jake only.
Vince gets to play and win. Glenn gets to play and win stuff. Like, yeah. So but the thing is that they do, not to say that's inappropriate that they hire me so they can play. So at least they do that. They
hire somebody objective and
I will card them like that. So
give me a reason.
And no problem. Yeah, give me a reason.
Awesome. The last question I had was from Alan Thomas, and that was how many courts are going to be streamed, or rather, how many courts are there total, and how many of those are going to be streamed? So he said all the courts are going to be streamed. How many will there be?
5 courts, and of course they're going to be streamed. Come on, guys. I'd expect a little better. But all the courts, we have 5 courts and they will all be streamed. There will be 1 feature court, commentary, and the other 4 courts will be streamed as well. We are that's important. I'm hoping they're not going to end up with just like in the past where like the auxiliary courts are filmed kind of meh.
Right.
Like I'm making sure they're covered. We're also working on like a graphics package to make sure that they're given some treatment as well and not just like a hard to find YouTube page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be.
I mean, standards it's the World Championships, so yeah. Yeah,
there's standards and expectations, and you have them. So I'm gonna be relying on that stream. I'm excited, and for people that are listening, this was recorded 2 weeks prior to World, so
I'm sure 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Sorry to scare you there, but
it's like a week and a half, dude. It's literally in 10 days.
I'm still in Sunday mode, so I'm gonna pretend 2 weeks. Oh my god! But what? That was all that I got for the source questions. But what are you looking forward to the most at Worlds, other than it being over with? Like, is there anything that you're kind of just still kind of excited for, or optimistic about, or can't wait to see get unleashed on the world?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the level of competition, I really hope everyone who comes out to watch, like physically comes out to watch and then watches the live stream, because I don't think everyone quite understands. I'm telling all my rec leagues, I'm like, you guys don't get it. This level of competition is intense. It's fun. It's like going to your favorite basketball team's game, but then it's dodgeball, so it's even better. It's like the energy from the crowd, the energy from the players, the intensity of the competition. it's not like Elite. It's not like, any other thing that there is. There's only one of these, and it's different. It's not better or worse. It's different, but it's awesome. So I need everyone to experience that. So please, please share the heck out of that invite. Sell tickets. If you can't buy a ticket, come volunteer. We need so many volunteers, and you can come watch the games. Setup and breakdown is the best because you can come set up. You don't have to miss any games, and then you can come to any day of your choice. I'm looking forward to kind of that. Like, we've got some bars here. We're going to be airing the live stream, but everyone local should be there. And I mean, we've had Gym Bar here, and we air the championships for the last 2 years, which has been fun. And then honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, I just got out of rehearsal with the some of the halftime stuff, so I'm looking forward to seeing them and just putting on a show. Like, I come from a production background, so we're gonna put on a show, and hopefully it'll be a really good one.
God, that's awesome, man. I'm so bummed I can't make it.
Yeah, you're in a lot of trouble for that.
I can't help it. It's not by choice. Trust me. Hope you'll forgive me.
We'll see.
Yeah. God, he said something I wanted to ask about though, but oh well. Can't think of it.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh no, is there that's what it was. Is there other than Team USA, obviously, is there another country that you enjoy watching?
All of them.
All of them?
I mean, they all have their moments. I'm hoping that we can really highlight each country's moments. Ali said this to her new team, and I'm stealing it from my team, but I also kind of like, we kind of going into the season in WeHo with our new teams, our rec teams are full of newbies that like, we're not looking to like win this, like have the game be the moment. I'm looking for everyone to have their moment. Like, if you make a catch, you've never made a catch before, that's your moment. That's a victory for us. Like, personal victories. That's it.
Right.
So that's a victory. And I think every country has that. And I'm hoping we can showcase that. I love watching Malaysia and Canada and Australia and the US play. Obviously, Hong Kong is always fun. Like, they're all really great. Mexico's been so quiet. I think they're going to come out really strong, and nobody's going to be prepared. Italy now has a hang on it. They last year was their first time playing with foam ever. And we have no idea what to expect from like Argentina, and New Zealand's back, and they're fun, and like, yeah, the competition is going to be great.
Dang, still upset. I was gonna say, so I went to Bell's last weekend, 3 weekends from what, like, that matters. I went to Bell's, and I realized how fun watching dodgeball actually is, because the only other time I'm watching dodgeball is if I'm playing. So if my team's not playing, we're watching, the tail end of whoever we're going to play up against. And I never realized, like, just going to an event as a true spectator, like, it just adds just a completely different perspective on dodgeball, and kind of going back to what you're saying. What's up?
No, it really does. But go on. Sorry.
No, I was just like, if people are listening that are thinking about or on the fence about going to Worlds, like, please go. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I might fly to wherever next year just so I can be a part of it and be a part of that energy, just because it's just so different and so awesome.
It's really cool, and it is the end goal, right? Like, this is to in a sense mimic what the future should be like for Elite, for everything. Like, and I will say, like, in Australia, in Melbourne, this huge crowd, we had about 1,000 people there, and Melbourne's like a town that just a sports town. So they sold a lot of cheap tickets, and a lot of random people just came, have no connection to dodgeball. And once Australia got eliminated, they stayed. We expected the audience to shrink down from 1,000 to like 800, 700, but they stayed. Like, everybody was in their seats for the gold medal match, and everyone was cheering for Malaysia or Canada. And it was more exciting than just a hometown thing. And a lot of dodgeballers haven't experienced that. A lot of people are like some of my really close friends who play for years in Elite, they're like, yeah, it's dodgeball, whatever. I'm like, no, this is different. You're a spectator at a sporting event, and you know the game, and you like the game. And it's something that a lot of us haven't actually experienced. Just like you were saying, it's like watching Bells is similar, but like, it's something a lot of us haven't experienced at all.
Oh yeah. Well, for now,
even though we think we have. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying like that totally turned me around. Like I thought I'd, spectated and watched dodgeball, but I really truly haven't. When you have nowhere to be, like you can like, oh, I can go watch this team right now. Like there's nothing keeping me from doing so. Oh, I'm not going to be, pulled to go ref. I don't have to hide from Jake Mason because I have a wristband out. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Mother.
No, I was there for all my assignments, so I had to sneak that in there though. But yeah, it's just, you don't have an obligation. You can watch anything you want, and it's just it just adds to, for me, with with all the recent OG conversations we've been having, that I guess I'm like at the tail end of my dodgeball playing career, but at least it's good to know that I can still enjoy watching dodgeball. Like there's something there. I mean, it's not going to be the same as playing ever, but just being there gives me hope that I'll have something to kind of hang on to when I retire at 50. Retire
at 50. We have like literally a flirty over 40 team in WeHo.
Nice.
There's no retiring from dodgeball, fool.
That's why
Tillman's is lying to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he still plays though, right? Like he still gets his knocks
exactly.
in. Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I mean, as well as I do that I can talk for another 3 hours about this stuff, but just for the sake of keeping this kind of on track, I want to go ahead and just kind of wrap it up now. But before I do so, was there anything else that you wanted to air or announce or just kind of let out before we close?
Share the event. Everybody share the event, no matter where you are. Let everyone know. Again, just break the stigma of like dodgeball doesn't sell tickets, because it really does, and I've witnessed it twice, and everybody was excited. Our waitress the next morning at breakfast in Melbourne was like, "Oh my god, I was at that game. It was so cool." Like, wow. This is how the sport grows, and you can all do your part by just sharing and buying a ticket and coming. And even if, like, again, if you can't afford a ticket, come volunteer. We need help everywhere. Share the live stream, please. And again, just thank you to you and to Grace. And but Brennan Tigner has just been my everything. He has done so much for this sport that people have no idea. He has done more for the sport in his 2 years of playing dodgeball, like barely 3 years of playing dodgeball, than some of our quote unquote leaders had done for years. So he deserves some recognition. And I'm not saying that because he's my boyfriend, but like I
was gonna say, if you didn't, just so you know,
he's literally doing all this because he's got a passion for it and he's got a talent for it. Val Horton and Ali Bustamante, Anfan, and Marjan. Thank you, all of you guys too. Marjan is like our go-to for branding and stuff, and we owe her so much money. And there's just so many other people too, Kelly and just everybody. But I would go down a rabbit hole of talking about it. So just in particular, Casey Reed, thank you. And I know I'm missing people, but I'm going to put a list together for Worlds and make sure that one way or another, just know that I appreciate you. And even if it's not noticed or recognized, the community appreciates you and your work.
Awesome. Marjan, I think she made me some awesome memes for Rebecca Chappell. I just realized that. So if you're listening, Marjan, thank you so much for that. That was some incredible work and fast. Great turnaround. Yeah,
she's amazing.
She seems really cool. Well, cool. Well, again, just for my own sake, tell Brandon I said thank you for all that he's done. When Mark kind of mentioned his role, it really opened my eyes to, again, the less sexier, not out in front of people work that goes behind putting everything together, but also thank him for playing video games so I can still steal you away for another extra hour. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. He's sacrificed a lot of our relationship to turn it into a dodgeball one, which is, yeah. Anyway,
it's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. Stay strong, man. Hang in there. Hopefully, I imagine it's gonna be a great event, and we'll probably catch up afterwards. But yeah. Thank you for everything, and have a good rest of your Sunday, and I'll catch up with you later, man.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. So that was I was going to say a quick recap of the Worlds that's coming up. I think depending on the release of this episode, either this week or in a few days. Either way, it's coming up really soon. And the intent was to kind of just paint somewhat of a picture from Jake's perspective of what goes into WDBF Worlds, as well as his role in USA Dodgeball. And again, you put somebody that's been around dodgeball almost as long as I have, and I'm just going to go into rabbit holes. I can't help myself, but I feel like there's a lot of really good takeaways and insight into everything that's been going on and what's been building up to this year. As mentioned, USA Dodgeball was, I think, conceived maybe 2-3 years ago, but really kind of came into fruition in November when they announced it and just went full steam ahead for 2018. And I'm just so excited to see where it's going and just have a lot of faith in Jake and the people that are stepping up to create the world of dodgeball that we all have been wanting and pining for years now. Again, thank you so much, Jake, for hopping on and giving me your time. I know it's very precious and very limited, so I do appreciate the hour and a half that you gave me, and I hope that this episode comes out well and gives people, like I said, a good idea of what's going on, and also just kind of helps set the tone for the weekend of Worlds. It's going to be an incredible event. I'm so jealous and bummed that I can't make it, but I will be doing my best to stream and capture everything. As of now, I'm planning to recap it with Nick Factorin. And I think I'm going to con Sergio Leone and maybe Crystal Briones to help me do some in-event interviews from spectators and maybe players while they're there. So if they're asking for interviews, please don't be shy. I feel, again, like that's an incredible element to bring to these recaps. Really helps capture the excitement and the energy. And I just love hearing dodgeball in the background when I'm talking to somebody. So that's a lot of fun. So again, please don't be shy. And if you want to be considered as part of that interview process, definitely reach out to any one of us and we'll coordinate that and help make that happen. Best of luck to Team USA, both men's and women's. You guys have come a long way from being scouted to going to the combine to putting practices in to getting trained and beaten up by people like Brenda Kramer and hiring trainers to make you guys better. I'm so excited and so proud of this team. I cannot wait to see you guys just dominate and take that gold. So on that note, for everyone else that's listening, if you're traveling to Worlds, be safe. I am so jealous of you, but have a good rest of your evening and have a great weekend. And again, go Team USA.